I have no idea why this video is so hard for me to film, but I have literally tried to film it like 3 times unsuccessfully. So hopefully the 4th time is a charm. For those of you guys who follow me on Instagram, you kind of know some of the stuff that's been going on, but basically I just wanted to talk about a couple things with you guys. This week has been super crazy. As you guys know, I got back from Mexico City about a week ago, and I got extremely sick in Mexico starting the first day that I got there, and it was probably from drinking the water. I literally drank a ton of tap water on the first day that was supposedly filtered, but I don't know if that's what made me sick or not, but I got really sick. I won't go into details on the extremity of how sick I was, but I was so sick that when I got home, I had to go to the doctors and they put me on antibiotics because I had been sick for like 9 days. Think about like the worst food poisoning you've had and picture having that for like 9 days, and that's basically how I felt. And I've been working a lot since I got home, a lot more than I had been working. And as you guys know, I started a new bartending job. I was like, worst case scenario, I crap my pants on like my 3rd day of work when everyone hasn't met me yet, and then I have to quit. But no, seriously, that is how sick I felt. But I am feeling totally better, and I am still waiting on a couple labs to come back just to rule out some like weird types of bacteria, but I think I'm fine. So other than that, I'm having a crazy breakout. See if I can show you. I mean, I really don't want to show you, but I will. A lot going on over here. And if there was ever evidence that your diet plays a large role in your skin, then let it be this situation right here, because while I was in Mexico, I ate so much more dairy than I have been eating just because it was really hard for me to find vegan food there, and it was really hard for me to modify like food at restaurants and stuff just because of the language barrier. I didn't feel like I had a super hard time communicating with people, but it was hard to make specific requests. So I did end up eating a lot of cheese and a lot of like really heavy food that didn't feel healthy. And when I came back from my trip, I just totally broke out, and I really feel like it's my body just detoxing from being sick and being very unhealthy while I was on vacation. I also do want to make a vlog about something really creepy that happened while I was in my Airbnb in Mexico City, but I'm gonna save that for another day because it's kind of a long story. If you guys are into like ghost stories, I'll definitely make that vlog for you. Not saying I even believe in ghosts, because I really don't feel like that type of person. I feel like I am a super skeptic, but something seriously so sketchy happened to me when I was alone in my Airbnb, so maybe I'll talk about that with you guys if you're interested. So moving on to something a little bit more serious, but as you guys know, I have 2 cats. My cats are like everything to me. They are like my babies, my children. I think about them all the time. I feel sad when I think about what my life will be like at some point without them in it. So basically, Hannah, who is my very small 3-legged rescue that I've had for 8 years, got really sick recently, and she was diagnosed with asthma years ago, so sometimes she has like coughing kind of fits that we have related to her having asthma, but recently she's been having these weird kind of choking, coughing fits, and then earlier in the week she got really sick where she was projectile vomiting, and I just felt like something was severely wrong. So we did take her to the vet, and the vet told us that she had a cold, and I didn't feel completely comfortable with the diagnosis. And the following day, she was still really sick. So when I was at work, I had my boyfriend take her to the emergency animal hospital, where they told us that something was definitely really wrong, but they weren't sure really what it was. They had to run some diagnostic tests and do some x-rays. So about 1 year ago, Hannah had surgery to remove a blockage in one of her intestines, which is a life-threatening condition for cats. She had to have emergency surgery. This was last March, I believe. And the doctors basically were predicting that the same thing was happening again, and they thought she was gonna need to have another emergency surgery because there was a large mass of stuff that was trapped in her stomach. It looked like hair, but they couldn't really tell what it was. But they wanted to keep her overnight and then repeat the x-rays today. So she was basically in emergency animal care for the last 3 days. And this morning, we got a call with good news and bad news. The good news being that she did not have to have the surgery because the material that was in her stomach was passing without blocking her, which is really great. However, the x-rays that they took showed that her heart was enlarged. I'm gonna try not to get upset in this video. I actually told myself that I wasn't gonna cry in this video because I've already done that for like days, and I'm really trying to remain positive. But anyways, the x-rays showed that her heart was enlarged, which can be an indicator of heart disease and also heart failure. This cat is like everything to me, so this has been extremely difficult for me. And I've been working the last 2 nights and just trying to get through the nights at work without thinking about it. But last night I actually ended up leaving work early because I thought that she was having the emergency surgery. So the x-rays showed that her heart was enlarged, but the doctors don't really know exactly what that means or what's causing it until she gets a cardiogram, and they don't have the technology at that hospital to do that. So I have to take her to a cardiologist. Luckily, there's one in Los Angeles that has a really good reputation, and I have an appointment for Wednesday for a consultation, which is just where I go in without Hanley, where we review her x-rays, and then she's gonna have an appointment shortly after that where she gets a cardiogram so we can see exactly what's going on. The good news is that there is no fluid around her heart, which would indicate heart failure. And if she does have heart disease, which is possible, then hopefully it can be managed with a treatment plan and medication, like a beta blocker or something like that. I'm just gonna take it one step at a time, and I don't really know anything else, but it has definitely not been an easy few days for me. It's always difficult to see your animals in pain or to see them sick, especially when it's related to something a little bit more serious. But in general, it sucks to see your babies in pain. Right now, Hanley is at home. We took her home this morning. Let's see if I can find her. Hi, come here. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. And I did take her outside for a little bit earlier because it's one of her favorite things to do, even though she's not supposed to go outside. I'll take her out for a second. She seriously loves it so much though, I feel like I cannot deny her. And that is a piece of rosemary that I brought back from Mexico City and have repotted into a plant with some other rosemary over here that I'm trying to root, which I plan on talking about in another video. You gotta go inside, baby girl. Going inside. I also haven't eaten like anything today because I'm totally one of those people who loses their appetite when they feel anxious or stressed out. I've been trying to force myself to eat small snacks, but I just don't feel hungry. However, one of my favorite things to eat in summer is watermelon and also just melon in general, and I like it when it's cold. So I cut up some watermelon and I put some of it in the fridge because one of my favorite things is cold melon. Something else that I wanted to share with you guys is that throughout this depressing week in my life, I have found time to be really creative, and I think that sometimes my creativity comes from, I know that sometimes my creativity comes from moments where I'm feeling really depressed and really sad or anxious, because I like to do things to kind of like divert my attention from those negative feelings. So I've been doing like tons of crafts, and I'm gonna share a lot of them with you guys on YouTube in the form of tutorials and stuff like that, including this blanket that I made in a couple of hours. So I literally made this blanket a few days ago, and I posted a picture of it on Instagram, and so many of you guys were hitting me up asking me how I made it, and I feel like it turned out so awesome. This blanket is seriously huge. It's literally 13 pounds. It's like the ultimate thick, cozy winter blanket. or not winter blanket. You could use it as a comforter on your bed as well. Obviously my bed isn't made, so it doesn't look as cool as it could, but what do you guys think? And before I made this blanket, I literally watched multiple videos on YouTube of people arm knitting, and none of them made sense to me. Like, none of them were easy to follow at all, and I still couldn't figure out how to do it. So I finally figured out a different way of how to do it, and it was so easy. So I'm thinking about doing a tutorial on that. If you guys are interested, let me know. There's my other baby right there. But yeah, I think that is pretty much all that I have to share with you guys. Thank you everyone for all of the love and all of the support, and for all of your amazing and sweet messages and comments on Instagram and on YouTube, especially regarding Hannah-Lee. A couple of you guys sent me recommendations for vets and doctors that you like in Los Angeles, which is so amazing, and I totally use those recommendations. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it, and I really feel the love, and I know Hannah-Lee feels the love. I'm getting a little bit emotional right now, so I'm gonna go, but hope you guys all have an amazing night, and I will see you really soon in my next video, and I will talk to you then.